Hi folks, it's me Michaela and welcome back to my channel. I am doing something today that is a little new to me. Yes, I don't normally do any kind of like quarterly check-ins on my reading or my yearly TBR. However, over the past 2 years, I have discovered that I tend to forget I made said TBR, forget what books I put on the TBR, forget that I'm supposed to be reading those books, and then halfway through the year, check it and realize that I am like absolutely failing as if it's my full-time job at failing at reading a TBR. So I was like, maybe this year I should actually change what I do so I could potentially maybe actually achieve the goals I set for myself. And I'm going to do a check-in after 3 months of reading to see where I'm at with the 25 books in 2025 TBR that I made for myself. And, you know, we'll just see where it's at, because I have not looked at this list since I made it and since I made my 25 books in 2025 video. So do I remember the books on there? Like, yeah, I know I put some of the new releases. Like, I know like One Golden Summer by Carley Fortune's on there. Did I put The Bullet That Missed on that? Or was that on my 24 books in 2024 list? I think I put like The Third Gilmore Girl, the memoir, on. Why am I exposing myself like this? Me when I made that video, oh my god, I really want to read all these books. Me now forgets all of them, apparently. I do have my iPad though, which does have the list that I made so that we can review it together. Let me find the list. Okay, the list has been found. Based off the fact that we're now, let's be honest, it's almost 4 months into the year, but we're just gonna pretend that it's been 3 to make me feel better about myself. And I had 25 books. So that means that by this point in the year, I should have, let's say about 8 books. Let's aim for 8. We're gonna see the reality of that. So the first book I do have on the list is The Winners by Fredrik Backman, which I have not read. It's on the shelf. I got it from Christmas, my birthday, one of them, and I've been saying like, oh my god, I'm so desperate to read this. I can't wait to read this. And have I read it yet? No. I'm like scared of the devastation that's going to haunt me from it, you know? So I haven't done that. Then I have Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson, the second book in the Ernest Cunningham series. I have not even thought about reading this yet. That would be a no. Then we have The Wicked King by Holly Black. Hold on. I haven't read it, but I'm currently reading it. It's happening. So I don't think I can count this as read yet, because if I'm going to be doing more check-ins on this list later in the year, this is going to be on that check-in, because I also definitely didn't read this prior to April starting, since I'm reading it now. So I think I'm still at 0. Then I have Reckless by Elsie Silver, the 4th book in Chestnut Springs. Look, I finished reading Gold Rush Ranch and started a reread of Chestnut Springs, and I've reread the first book, and I'm going to reread the second book soon, maybe, and then I have to reread the third book, and then I'll read Reckless. I was like, haven't really been in a big romance mood lately, so I haven't been, you know, drawn to the romance reading. Number 5 is A Murderous Relation by Deanna Raybourn. This is the 5th Veronica Speedwell book. I also have not read this book. I am failing so miserably. This is why I was like, girl, you need to do this, because I forgot all of these were here. Yeah, I have not read that. The thing is, I own the Veronica Speedwell books, so I haven't bought this book, which means I haven't read this book. So that's like a 2-step process for completion, and I have completed 0 of those steps. I then have Tales from the Cafe by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, 2nd book in Before the Coffee Gets Cold. Guess it? Have not read it. That's a no. Absolutely not. This is also like a novella, so I could potentially read this in like 1 day. Have I? No. Not at all. Okay, 7 is Adrift in Currents, Clean and Clear by Seanan McGuire. 10th book in Wayward Children. Everybody, a round of applause, because I have finally read a book on the list. I finally got a hold in from Libby just last week, and I read this. So, Success, 1 book read. Number 8 on the list is The Goal by Elle Kennedy. This is the 4th off-campus book. Again, have not been like going for romance lately, so like the romance didn't happen. I have not been reading the romance. So the 9th book on the list is Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. This is the sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea, and I did read this book. I read this recently in my Reading for 24 Hours reading vlog, I believe. I think it's that vlog. I'll link the vlog I read it in for you in case you want to check out my thoughts on that. I then, as number 10, have The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I haven't read it. I bought it though, so I do own it. I just have not read it yet. Seems to be a tendency of me not reading the books that I say I really want to read. Okay, I then have as number 11, The Hidden Oracle by Riordan. This is the first book in the Trials of Apollo. I haven't read this yet because, one, I'm not really in the mood to be reading like middle grade. Two, my series spreadsheet controls my entire life, and it's told me that I shouldn't be starting a new series right now. Like, the spreadsheet is my boss. I work for the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet said no. Like, what am I going to do about it? I then have The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. Who was I when I put this on the list? This book is like 3 books long in book length. I could build a house out of this book. Why did I think it was a good idea to put this on the list? I still haven't finished Mistborn Era 2. Oh my god. Why do I think I can achieve so much when it's the month of December? Like, I'm not the same person. But this is the first book in Stormlight Archives. And again, new ginormous series. It's very intimidating. Have not started it. Number 13 on the list is One Golden Summer by Carley Fortune. Now, I haven't read this yet, but it's because the book isn't published yet. I can't read it. I have a legitimate excuse for not having read One Golden Summer, and it's because I physically am incapable of doing that at the present moment. So somehow that's a success for me, according to this list. I then have Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. I haven't read it. I was reminded of the fact that I was wanting to read this book recently, and yeah, realized I haven't read this, despite the fact that like everything Sally Rooney I read, I have very much highly enjoyed. So why have I not read this book yet? Questions I have for myself that I cannot answer. 15 on the list is The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennet, and I did just read this book in a reading vlog of reading the oldest books on my TBR. It shall be linked for you if you want to check that out. But I read that. I then have The Martian by Andy Weir. Have not read that. I was really trying to be like outside the box when I put a sci-fi on this list, and I have been living very like inside the box, so the outside of the box have not seen it. Have not been thinking about it. I don't even think I have a window right now from inside my box to the outside. That was an extremely extended metaphor. I was panicking halfway through that, I'm going to be honest. I did not know where I was going, but I feel like we made it out. I feel like we made it to the other side of the metaphor. But I have not read The Martian. I then have a lovely collection of nonfiction books, and I can guarantee you I have read none of them. I have not read any nonfiction yet this year, so The Third Gilmore Girl by Kelly Bishop, Sociopath by Patric, Gagne, and The Wager by David Grann. Those are the 3 nonfiction books I put on this list, and those are the 3 nonfiction books that I have still not read yet this year. So I then have The Wedding People by Alison Espach, which I have read. I read this book, and I absolutely adored it. Possibly one of my favorite books of 2025. Obviously, there's a lot of year left, but like I really like that book, okay? 21 on the list is The God of the Woods by Liz Moore, which I also actually read. I read this recently because I was looking at my Libby loan shelf, and I was like, this is way too many books to just have constantly on like a loan rotation when I'm not reading any of them. So I forced myself to read digitally, to read the books on Libby that I said I want to read, and I accomplished that task. Thank you. I assume you're applauding for me right now, so thank you. I then have as number 22 Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. I have not read this book. This is a graphic novel too. Like, I could read this so quickly, but I forgot I put this on the list. I forgot that, again, I was trying to go outside of the box, and I have, again, been very inside the box. So I have not read any graphic novels because I'm just like not really like a graphic novel girly. Like, I would like to be. Seems like it's fun. Seems like that's a fun girly to be. I am in fact just not that girly, but I do want to like try reading things that I don't normally read. So I put put Heartstopper on my list because I was like, well, everybody loves Heartstopper. So like if I'm gonna try and read more graphic novels, like why not start with the biggest one I can think of and know? And I just like haven't accomplished that task. Wonderful. 23 on the list is Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Malores. I haven't read it. I actually feel like I've been seeing, not necessarily Cleopatra and Frankenstein, but Coco Malores' other book, Blue Sisters, has been like appearing around me a lot, you know, like on YouTube, on Instagram, just like in life, it keeps popping up, and it reminds me about how I wanted to read Cleopatra and Frankenstein and how I should get on that. Haven't gotten on that yet, but like I'm thinking about it again. That's a start. Number 24, The Maid by Nita Prose. This first book in Molly the Maid. Have not read it, but again, have been thinking about it recently because I think the third book, the fourth book, the finale book, whatever, the yellow one, it's yellow. That was like kind of releasing recently, and it made me think about this and how I was meaning to read this. But again, I'm going to claim the series spreadsheet stopped me from this. I'm going to blame the spreadsheet. It wasn't me, guys. It was the spreadsheet. It told me no. But really, I should start that series because it's like a cozy mystery series, I'm pretty sure. So that's kind of been one of my vibes recently. So I feel like this actually would be a very good time to try and attempt reading that. Have not. And then the final book number 25 that I put on my 25 books in 2025 list was Anxious People by Fredrik Backman, and I have not yet read this book, which is mostly because I was like, oh, I don't want to read Anxious People until I finish reading Beartown, because I own the third book of Beartown, I own The Winners, so I should read that before I go buy myself another Fredrik Backman book, irresponsibly spend my money on books when I have books I haven't read, you know, trying to be a responsible adult, but that has in fact just made me an even more irresponsible reader. So I haven't read Anxious People, and that is like the current state of the 25 books in 2025 TBR. I've read 5, which means I have 20 left to read in the next 8 months. That's a lot of reading to accomplish, isn't it? I mean, like, I feel like some of these I am working towards. Like, I'm about to finish reading The Wicked King. I'm not about to finish reading The Wicked King. I am currently reading it though, so I guess in terms of like the year, it's the one I'm going to cross off next. I am working towards reading Reckless by Elsie Silver. I just have to do some rereads first. I could be reading Tales from the Cafe or The Goal, like basically anytime. I should be doing that. It would be achieving more in finishing series. The Winners, I could be reading that like literally right now if I really wanted to. I'm not. But I could, like, it's on my shelf. I just have to pick it up and then, like, start reading it and then, like, cry my heart out and be dehydrated from all of the tears I've released from my body from being devastated by reading The Winners, you know? Like, that's what I have to accomplish. One Golden Summer, I'm sure I'll read that as soon as it releases. Intermezzo, I have been really thinking about lately, and I want to read some Sally Rooney. I've kind of really been feeling more drawn to, like, general and literary fiction lately. So, reading Cleopatra and Frankenstein, reading Intermezzo, reading Anxious People, reading The Winners is starting to feel much more high priority to me. It's starting, that's feeling like what I'm wanting to read and what I'm wanting to explore right now, because I realize that, like, especially with my literary fiction, I have like a few authors that I read and I like feel like I need to expand that more, and I want to have a bigger general fiction area of my library and also just like of what I've read. So hopefully, you know, by the next check-in point for this list, I will have read some more of that. I think like also just have a quick little look at my 24 books in 2024 list. I don't think I have read any of the ones I have left on that list either. The Bullet That Missed. I did start my reread of Thursday Murder Club, so I reread the first book, so I need to reread the second book. I have the third book on my shelf. I have The Bullet That Missed, so I could be reading that one soon. Yellowface, nowhere close to reading that. The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Nope. Behind the Net. Romance? Absolutely not. I have not been reading romance. And Mile High by Liz Tomford. Absolutely not. Have not been reading romance. And then in terms of my 23 books in 2023 list, because yes, I also still have not finished reading all of that. I have not read The Lost Metal yet. I have not read Babel yet. And I have not read Mansfield Park yet. So yeah, we're not doing too great, but like no one's shocked, no one's surprised. That's where my yearly TBR is not quite where I would ideally like it to be, but also somehow like reading 5 of the books and being on the 6th book to read by April is somehow impressive for me, because I'm usually doing much worse than this. So I'm somehow impressed and disappointed at the same time, wonderful. If you happen to like this video, make sure to give it a like, give it a thumbs up. If you happen to like me, consider subscribing. I'd be happy to have you. Do let me know down below. Do you make yearly TBRs? How are you doing? Do you check in on them often? Do you forget about them like I do and then become very disappointed with yourself? What do you do? How many books do you put on your yearly TBRs if you make them? What makes you drawn to put them on your TBR? Are any of the ones on my list the same as on yours? Any thoughts, any feelings, let me know. And with that, I hope you're having a wonderful day today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.